My name is Robert Bruce Clifton, and I was born in Peoria, Illinois, and that's in central Illinois, and I grew up mostly in Illinois most of my life.
How is the world different today than when you were young?
Well, the inflation's really gone up, and I find, in my own opinion, is people are more opinionated now than they were back then. And some people are losing track of the family life, I believe. And so everybody's too busy in their own little world.
What advice would you have for a young person today?
Well, my best advice is, if you see something or you want to do something, sit back and think about it first, especially when it comes for relationships with people. It doesn't have to be a girlfriend, be a best buddy, whatever. And you very seldom have, by the time you get my age, you don't have, 20 or 30 friends. You can count them on one handful of people that you can call a true friend. So the older you get, the more the relationships mean to you.
Tell me about your military experience.
Okay, I was drafted into the military from Pekin, Illinois, which is right next to Peoria. My draft number happened to be Lucky 13. And I was drafted. They took me to Chicago. I naturally passed the test, and I became drafted into the Army, of which I spent 1 year, 11 months, and 20 days, if you're counting. And I went through NCO school while I was in the military, and that's to become a non-commissioned officer. And I became a sergeant before I went overseas to Vietnam. And I was a forward observer in the military. And also I worked with mortars. And so that's basically my fun time in Vietnam. Out of 30 people in our NCO school, 28 went to Germany. And another buddy of mine, we were lucky and we got to go to Vietnam, of which we both came back.
Bruce, would you mind sharing any of your experiences from Vietnam with us today?
Well, I was on what we call an ambush during monsoon season. And we were up by the Quan Tree up in the north part. And it just had little bitty trails, and we had the big 50-pound rucksacks on our backs. And so we was hunting for the Vietnamese, or the North Vietnamese. And so we set up camp, and it's pouring down rain. And we set out our little, claymores and ready to go. And we put this dead branch across the little pathway, and to move it, it'd shake, and you can go, shh, you hear it, So my buddy said, I'll take first watch. So I went to sleep, and we had one on, one off, and I just no more and got to sleep, and he wakes me up. Sergeant, there's something out there. I says, what? So I wake up and listen. I didn't hear anything. He says, well, go back to sleep. And I no more and got to sleep again, and here he wake me up. There's something out there. So we waited and listened. They still didn't hear nothing. So I says, why don't you just go to sleep and I'll take over from here, because I only had another 20 minutes or so. And so he no more and got to sleep. I hear the old branch go, shh. I said, oh no, there's something out there. So I wake him up, And so then, but it sounded like after we woke each other up and we were wide awake here in the middle of the night, it sounded like somebody just picked the branch up and threw it off to the side. And we said, oh my gosh, somebody's coming through here. And we knew it wasn't our people, so we blew the claymores and threw a couple grenades and everything, but we wasn't going out there that night to check it out. So we got up the next morning and we killed a monkey. So that's the only thing I ever know that I really killed over there, because everything we did was mostly indirect fire over there. But that was kind of scary at the moment. It's funny now, but it was too funny.
Thank you, sure.
That's just a cute little story.
Well, it is a cute story because it's a horrible situation that you're in.
Right.
But whenever you can find humor.
Scared to death.
Absolutely.
You know.
How old were you at that time?
20
years old. Sergeant, so you're in charge of people.
Yeah, 20 years old.
What did you do after the military?
After the military, well, I already had a diploma in, or an associate's degree in accounting and that. And so as soon as I got out of the military, I got a job at First National Bank in East Peoria as the assistant auditor, and which was just basically bookkeeping type of thing and running the proof machines at that time. And then after that, I started to work for Kroger Company. I worked for Kroger's for 21 years. And I did about everything you could do in there except manage the store. And sometimes they give me the keys at night and we managed the stores, make sure all the people did their jobs.
When did you leave Kroger?
When did I leave Kroger's? Okay, I had, after the military, I got a bachelor's degree in accounting, and I decided that I was wasting my time going to Kroger's, and I did have my own accounting business started, a few businesses and tax people on the side. So then I decided, well, Kroger's is not my field of endeavor, so I quit Kroger's and went to work for Neighborhood House, which is a nonprofit help for the how should I say it? I'm not really politically correct, but it was in the poor district of Peoria, and we helped the needy people there that needed meals, that type of thing, and I was the finance director there. And after 2 years there, I got another job with the YWCA at that time.
What did you do for the YWCA?
Well, I first started with the YWCA. My job was to computerize the paper trail. And at that time they had 38 different programs. And each program is treated like a separate business at 4 different facilities. And I accomplished that in about 7 to 8 months. And that was part of my job, putting everything on the computer. I used Peachtree and also use Excel, Microsoft Excel, to do spreadsheets and that type of thing. And they were very happy with me, and after I did that, then they made me the comptroller instead of the finance director. And when the executive director left to go out of town or to a meeting somewhere, I was the boss. But my hair wasn't long enough, so I could never be the executive director at the YWCA.
Can you tell me about your photography work?
My photography work. Well, I had a buddy, Larry Lawson, and him and I used to decide, we were going to do something different away from people. And so we picked up a camera, and my son actually started in photography, and we got a few pointers from him. And so we had our own camera, and then we decided to go out to nature and take pictures. And so we did that, and we took a few classes, and the instructor says, we noticed one thing about all your 2 pictures. There's no people in it. And he says, well, people just mess everything up. We didn't like that, so we had nature. So we did everything with nature, and I got to start taking pictures of eagles. And the way I really started with taking pictures of eagles was my wife at the time. She took me down to a little town called Havana on the Illinois River, and I saw this bald eagle chase this seagull to try to catch it for a meal, and this was in February. And it spent about 10 minutes trying to catch that seagull in one continuous flight. And ever since then I was sold on eagles, and I started taking pictures of eagles everywhere I could. And Gary and I went up and down the Illinois River just taking pictures of eagles and nest of the eagles. And then we decided to go to Keokuk, Iowa, And we took a lot of pictures of eagles there. At one time we counted over 500 eagles on the river, on the Mississippi River. And we just quit counting after 500. And that's where I got a lot of my eagle pictures. And then I give a slideshow in Pekin, in my hometown of Pekin. And then what happened there is when I was giving my slideshow at the end of January, which is the day that they counted all the eagles on the Illinois River, they had a boat to go up and down the river. Well, instead of going up and down the river, I gave a slideshow to the general public in a big auditorium. And we talked about eagles and stuff, and then Wildlife Prairie State Park brought in their birds of prey there. And the education director there, she decided she wanted some of my pictures and asked me if she could have some. And I said, yeah, maybe. I says, but if you tell me where I go to class to learn how to handle eagles, would be really great. And I give her the whole disc. Well, she says, we got a class starting in 2 months. And so I got to do that free, and I give her the picture, the slide program I had on the disc. And that's how I really got in the birds of prey, because they had me on there as a photographer, and I also got to work with the birds, which was a lot of fun.
After spending a large part of your life in Illinois, how did you end up coming to McDowell County?
Well, after my divorce, I moved to Market Heights, which is in between Peoria and Pekin. And I pick up the rose, growing roses and stuff. And this cute little lady, she was walking down the street with her little dogs, and she said, oh, them are such pretty little roses. And so I said, well, here we go. Let's see what I can do. So I cut a rose and offer the best flower I had and give it to her. And so she was in the process of getting a divorce at that time. And so then that's what happened is she moved from there to another apartment, and then we dated a couple of times, well, quite a few times. And she decided that she was coming down here to Marion to where her grandkids lived. So then she moved down here, and here I was up there with my business, rental properties and all that, and I was a lonely feller. And so I said, this is no fun, so I retired and come down here.
Since moving to McDowell County, you've gotten yourself involved in things, and today, as people can look around and see behind you, is that there's a lot of honey in here, and it's not just because you like honey. There's a reason why there's so much honey in here. Can you tell me about you and bees?
Well, when I come down here from Illinois, I knew absolutely nothing about a bee. Matter of fact, I didn't like to be around bees like most people, and I was kind of afraid of them. And the other chorus, other pawpaw in the family, he had bees, and he raised bees and made honey and that, and we was all the time getting free honey from him. And she says, wouldn't it be nice to have our own bees so we wouldn't have to ask him all the time? So he said, well, I know somebody that's wanting to sell a hive, a colony of bees. And so he went to that guy, and he sold us a colony of bees. They brought the bees over, they set it up. They had the hive box, the super, the stand I put it on, and he gave me a bee suit, a smoker, and a hive tool, and he says, you're on your own now, you're ready to go. And so I started keeping bees that way, and now I'm the president of McDowell Honeybees. I also ran the bee school there 3 years ago, and the more you're involved, the more you learn with bees.
You started, so you started with your own hive.
Yes.
And now you're president of the McDowell Beekeepers. How much time passed between those two events?
Okay. I started out with the one hive. It progressed to having 4 hives. And then I knew nothing basically about bees, so I decided to go to a bee school at the McDowell Honeybees. And that's always in the first 3 Saturdays in February. I went there, and I didn't have to pay a penny to go to school to learn about bees. And I thought that was a fantastic deal. So I went there and got to know some of the people, which I already knew from the senior center. And then after that, first year, the second year, they asked me, I joined the club, the McDowell Honeybee Club, and then the first year I was in the club, they asked me if I would chair the McDowell Honeybee School that they have in February, because, you know, I have the education, all this education stuff, so I decided, well, why not? Did many things. I volunteered for a lot of organizations, so I could do that. And I had probably a committee of about 10 people, and we met at least once a month up till January, and then it was every week in January, and we put on a successful bee school, and we had over 120 students show up in the first year I did it.
Since we've been talking a little bit about bees, would you be okay if we went out and took a look at your bees?
That'd be a great idea. I'd like to see him meet you. That'd be a great deal. Okay. Here's bees on the bottom. They're making honey.
Okay.
And the reason we start from the outside, try to be as gentle with the little girls as possible, and we try to talk all the time.
Okay.
That way they get used to.
And these are all female bees that we're looking at today.
Most of them. We can pull one of these out and check. What I'm trying to do is get to the center of this. This one here, and there's a whole bunch of bees.
Wow.
But see, they're just putting honey in there. That's all they're doing.
See, these are filled over here.
Yeah,
oh, and then, yeah, all through there.
See, and then when they get it full, what they'll do is cap it, and they'll seal it so and they'll wait until the moisture content is below 18%. And there's no brood in here. None there. There's no queen there. There probably won't be any queens in this part. But they'll have this completely full of honey and capped.
Bruce, typically how many bees would you find in one of these hives that you have here?
Well, a good healthy hive can have from anywhere from 10,000 to 70 or 80,000.
Wow.
Now what I'm going to do is take this and put it on there. Good. Now we have a lot of bees.
Wow.
And the queen is in here somewhere.
Bruce, typically how many bees would you find in one of these hives that you have here?
Well, a good healthy hive can have from anywhere from 10,000 to 70 or 80,000.
Wow.
See, you notice they're going all the way out to the edges. So they're filling some of these.
And I see they're connecting them too.
Yeah. That's to make a short road. The bees do everything with a purpose. See, you notice some of this goop stuff on here?
Yeah.
What they do is that's that propolis that sticks these together.
So they're sealing it?
They're sealing it so there's no draft for the wintertime. Remember I told you we start from the outside?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now, starting from the outside. There we go. Now shouldn't be any brood in here. Could possibly be. You see how easy it would be to roll them?
Yeah.
Now see, this is honey here. It's capped.
And it's capped down there, so that's...
Yeah, so that's capped.
How long does a bee typically last, Bruce?
The summer bees last 6 weeks. One bee's lifespan is 6 weeks. Winter time, you can be up to 3 to 4 months. And that's what these are. These are winter bees that the brood is.
Okay.
So they're baby bees that's getting ready to hatch, and that's who's going to take care of the queen and all that in the winter.
Bruce, we've learned a lot about bees today. Can you tell me about some of the other products besides honey that can be made from your bees?
Sure, as you can see on the table here, we have the honey in all different size jars. We have candles we can make. These are made from pure beeswax. All these, and you put a string in it, and there's a whole big process you go through, and you got to melt it down. You have soap that you can make from beeswax, and we also have lip balm that you can make from beeswax. Well, we melt it in a double boiler, or we can do it in the solar wax melter I have out there. And what I do is boil it to get it down into this color of type wax, and then we have little molds we pour it into, and we can also sell the big blocks to people that would process it further and make different items from it. They can make candles, soap, lip balm, and that type of thing. So you can just sell your wax as is and not make anything from it and still make money off of it.
Mr. Clifton, thank you for letting me interview you today and teaching us about bees.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Whalen, for letting me have the opportunity to do that.